Hey everyone, Kimo here, and in this video we're going to learn how to propagate lucky bamboo or Dracaena sanderiana. So here is one of the many lucky bamboos that we have growing around the house. My wife wants me to dig it out, and I've decided to take this opportunity to go ahead and use this for this propagation video. So the idea behind the video is to produce 100 lucky bamboo cuttings and see how much or what we need to do to get 100% propagation rate. So the video might be a little hard to watch because I'm still trying to figure out the best way to create long format video content. So right now I'm just recording it with my phone and then doing the voiceover later. So with that said, I might not get everything right. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave the comments below and I'll try to answer whatever I can. So here we have a golden variegated variety of the lucky bamboo. And this one is a beautiful variegation. I really like this lucky bamboo, but it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. We won't be taking any cuttings from this one, only because I want it to kind of grow and get bigger before I harvest some more shoots. But I'll do another video on that in the future. So make sure you subscribe so you'll be updated on all those future videos. So note you might hear a little tapping, and that's my dog in the background, just so you know. So here we have a another batch of lucky bamboo right next to the golden variegated variety, and we might be taking some cuttings from this, but I'm not sure yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the cuttings, or I'm going to dig out that last one, and then we're going to make cuttings, and then we'll just go from there. I want to get about 100 canes to root from. So here we have another variety of lucky bamboo. This is more of a white creamy variety, so I like this one as well because it's very unique. We're not going to be cutting this. I need to still let it grow. I just actually got these, and so I have 3 different varieties. I just wanted to show you the different types of varieties we have for lucky bamboo, and this one is beautiful. I really do enjoy the white stripes on this particular bamboo. Okay, so here is another clump of lucky bamboo. It's growing in a ceramic pot and with another Dracaena. This one is a Dracaena massagina, and we just have them growing together. I'm probably going to have to cut some from here too as well, just to make up for that 100 canes I'm looking for. So 100 sounds like a good number to kind of do a test from, to kind of figure out what is the best way to get that 100% propagation rate. Okay, so here is another batch next to my shed in the back, and I'm just showing you all the bamboo that I may need to use or may not. But so this one is a nice batch that we just kind of planted along the side of the shed. So we have 2 here, one on each side of the shed, and these I'm hoping they'll allow to get big and just get the canes really nice and fat. Okay, so here we are back at the front of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and dig this guy out. I won't be recording that part because I'm not sure how I would be able to record it and dig it out at the same time. So let's go ahead and do that. And here is the lucky bamboo. Now that I've dug it out, I'm going to start probably cutting it from the top and going all the way down, cutting the canes into segments, so we can get about 100 canes. And check out this root ball. I bet you guys didn't think lucky bamboo can get this big, huh? But they get pretty big. I've seen some canes that are very thick, and I'm trying to work on getting some canes as thick as the ones I've seen. So here is our lucky bamboo cane. I have it sitting on a table, and I am going to start cutting away at it. I've done a couple cuttings already, but I'm just going to go ahead and just snip here with my my pruners. And I like to make with the canes, I like to snip about 6 to 8 inches. 12 inches is good also. So here it is. I'm going to start snipping from the top. Snip away. And yeah, I try to get about 8 to 12 inches. And as I'm cutting, I like to cut between the segments. You see the 2 segments, one on the left and one on the right. I'm just going to snip right in between that. I'm not going to worry about snipping next to a node or anything like that. I notice lucky bamboo is fine. I just snip it right in between the nodes. So there goes another one, and I'm just going to keep doing that until we get 100 of the canes. So here is what it looks like. I didn't snip the canes all up, but I just snipped from the bottom up, and now I'm just going to make my segments later, might cut my segments later, but I'm gonna leave a couple of canes here just to have them sprout back, and some canes so I can leave so that they will grow back. So I'm gonna put this in a pot and allow it to grow in a pot, and I'll update you on that. So here is the cane. So we should have at least a good 60 cuttings. So we'll see. We'll go from there and see how much I can make out of this batch of canes. And here we have, I think, 3 or 4 already inside little pots. I'm going to put about 20 in each little pot, and then we're going to work from that. So you can see here I have some canes that are growing from the side, and with these I'm just going to cut it right here, right at the edge where they kind of meet, and we're just going to see how these guys do. So here is all the cuttings from that one batch. So I was able to make 20 for each pot, so that makes up 60. So I have 60 and I need to do 40 more. So we're gonna have to take some cuttings from the other lucky bamboo plants that I showed you before. So let's go ahead and do that. And here we are at the batch of lucky bamboo that's in a pot. I went ahead and just snipped up a whole bunch, and we're gonna see how much I can make from this batch of lucky bamboo cuttings. So I was able to make about 28 cuttings, so I still need 12 more cuttings. So we're gonna work on getting those 12 from the ones next to the shed. Alright, so here we are at the shed. I'm gonna go ahead and make some cuttings here, and there's a little shoot that's coming out. So that's a new lucky bamboo shoot coming out to make some more lucky bamboo, but which we need because we're going to be doing some cutting. So I need roughly 12 more cuttings. So I'm going to go ahead and make a snip here, and then we're just going to keep going along and snip until we get to 12. Alright, so that was perfect. I was able to get just enough to make 20 lucky bamboo cuttings for the last pot, which equals to 100 lucky bamboo cuttings. Here they are, 100 lucky bamboo cuttings. So I have 20 in each pot, like I said, and I have 5 pots. Now I'm going to need to trim some of these yellow leaves off, the dead ones and the yellow ones off. So some I'm going to leave leaves on and some I'm going to leave leaves off. And then we're going to put them all in the water and just let them root inside water. So here we have the lucky bamboo that I dug out from the front of the house. I put it in a 5 to 7 gallon pot. And the soil I use is just dirt. It's the soil from the backyard. You can see there's a hole back there, and I ran out of dirt, so I used just regular house dirt from the backyard. So here is the 100 lucky bamboo. I went ahead and put it in a little oil pan here. It's been cleaned out, of course, but it's got some water in there, and they're just kind of sitting there in water. So I'm going to leave it there for a couple of days until I have some time, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in like pots filled with water later on. Alright, so it's been a couple of days now, and I went ahead and found a whole bunch of different kind of pots and just put them all into a pot or a container, any kind of container, just to show you that you don't need anything special to root these. I even got a little half a gallon milk jug here, or I think it's an iced tea jug. But yeah, it's just different types of containers. Nothing special, guys. Just put them in containers, fill them with water, and that's it. It should just root fine. So here is my previous cuttings. They all rooted. I think there's about 10 or 12 in here, and they all rooted and they all started sprouting. So that's a good sign. So it's pretty easy to get roots from the cuttings. This particular cutting, I made a mistake. I cut off all the top leaves, which I shouldn't have not done, because after doing this experiment, I kind of know now that leaves on the top really help to produce roots. So that's a tip right there. So these are the variegated varieties. This is the golden variegated variety, and look at all those roots. Very nice. They're happy. I think that's been a month now that they've been in water. And here is a better view of the canes. Again, these are the variegated varieties, and look at those roots. Very, very nice. They're just growing really good. So these are roots formed in water. They're a little different than the roots, I guess, that are forming in the soil. So they're about ready for me. I'm going to go ahead and just pot them up. I won't have a video on that, but I'll pot these up, and then I'll give you an update on these guys later on a separate video. Okay guys, so it's been about a month and 1 week, and we're gonna go ahead and check the roots on our lucky bamboo. So the only thing I did here was I changed this part out for another one, and that's pretty much it. I've been changing the water once a week or whenever it looks like it's getting muggy. But let's go ahead and check the roots on this this set of 100 lucky bamboos and see what we got. So I know there are some that failed, and there's some that still haven't rooted. So here's what we got here for our roots here, and they're looking good. Lots of roots coming out here. So I'm gonna just put the ones that haven't rooted yet. This one doesn't look like it's got any roots yet. Sort of browned out at the top, so we'll put this one aside to this side, and then we can kind of gauge how many made it and how many failed. So I'm just gonna put all the ones with the roots here. And so from what I've noticed is that any of the ones with leaves on the top seem to root much better than the ones that didn't have any leaves, like this one. You know, so again, another with leaves got roots, and then this one, no leaf, no root. So it doesn't mean that it won't have any root, it's just not showing any roots. So this one doesn't have any leaf, but it has a little sprout there, and no roots, not that I can see, but I think it's going to root. But since it doesn't have any roots now, I'm just gonna put it over to the no root pile. And again, another, oh, I see a tiny little root coming out of this one, but I'm still gonna put this one over to there, the side with the no roots, and just keep it. Maybe it'll take another few weeks to push out some roots, but this has roots. So, and here's one that doesn't have any roots, but it's still nice and green, so we'll put that over to here. And no roots, but we have a little nub on top, and roots. So we have about 6 here, no roots, and the rest, which means there's 14 that has roots. So I'm going to put that right back in here. Alright, so with that done, let's go take a look at this batch. This is another batch at 20, and I can already tell this one is not looking good. Look at it, nice and yellow. So again, anything with maybe some leaves is better than ones without leaves. Well, look, this one doesn't have a leaf, but it does have roots, so that's good. I'm going to put this on the root pile. Again, this one, no leaf, but does have roots. So anything with roots, I'll put to the right side here. Roots, no leaf. See, just because it doesn't have any leaf on top doesn't mean it won't root. So this batch here seem to have done very well with roots and no leaf. Here's one that no leaf but doesn't have any roots. I'll put it over here, put it over there. So there's a chance it might have gone upside down. But we'll see. We'll go ahead and leave it in for a little longer to see if it grows any roots. So roots, get some roots. This has got a little bit of root here, but has no leaf. I do see a little bud coming out there, so that's good. And this one, no roots, a little root. So I'm going to put this over here. It does have a little bit of root, and that's over here. And these two are going over here. So we have this. We have a bunch of failed ones on this one. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 to 11. Oh no, you know what? It's not 11 because I included it with the other batch. So that was actually, the last one was 6, so that's 5. So we got 5 on this batch that didn't make it, or didn't make any roots. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna make it. So let's go ahead and put that aside. Alright, so let's take a look at the other ones here. Got the big batch here. I'm just going to pull it right on out. This one seems to have been very productive here. Let me put that back in here. This one looks really good. Lots of roots on this guy here. Notice the bigger something, the bigger the stalk, the beefier the leaf also, the better the root system. So this one looks pretty good, like all that. Oh, look at this one. This one has some leaf, a little bit of leaf, but no roots on this one. So I'm going to put this over here. And it looks like most of these rooted. That's good. And this one's interesting. I think this one already had roots. So, but there's no bud. But the roots look like it's growing, so that's good. I'll put it over to that side. And I think we only have 2, from what I can tell, that doesn't have any roots. 2, 3. This one's interesting. This one has some leaves and no roots. So that's 3 for that. Put that there. And that there. And these guys over to here. And that's it. So there's 3 for that batch that didn't have any roots. So we're gonna, oh, actually, I actually mistaked one here. There's a little root over here. Some little, I don't know if those, yeah, those are roots, like air roots up here, and possibly a little sprout. So that'll go back there. So that's 2. Okay, so we have 12 that didn't get any roots. Let's go for the next round and see how much we got. Alright, so we have one with a tiny bit of root and a little bit of a sprout, but I will put it over here. And this one has roots. I'm just going to look for the ones that don't have roots. This one has a little bit of root, so I'll put this one over here. The other one was a tiny one, so I wasn't going to count that. So these look good. Small, but I'll consider it. And this one's no root, so that's 2, I believe, so far. And then here we go. That one. And this one's looking very yellowy, but it's got roots. Not sure. I'll go ahead and actually put the yellow one. I mean, it's got some noticeable roots right here, but it's very, very yellow, so not sure if that one will make it. We'll put that over there. Okay. And this one's interesting. This one has roots up here. None at the bottom. I wouldn't say those are roots. Those are probably roots forming, but we'll put that over here. And here we go. One over here. 2 more over here. And let me see if this one has any sprouts. No sprouts, but two good sized roots. We'll put this in the back pile here for the maybe. Alright, and that's for that one. So that batch had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we have 12 that made it on this batch. That means there's 8 that didn't make it on the other one. Or not that didn't make it, it's just 8 we'll have to put there to wait and see if it's going to make it. Alright, so let's take a look at our last pile. This container here. I'm going to pull it out, and I believe this one, if I remember correctly, was really good. So there we go. I think this one had a really good success rate on this one. I'm not sure why, but it did have a good amount of cuttings that rooted. So this one is looking good. Looks like most of them rooted, with the exception of, I think, this one here. This one rooted. And I'm going to go ahead and just put that over here too. That one's good. These 2 are good. These 2 look good. And note, some of these don't have tops, so just because they don't have tops doesn't mean they won't root. Again, a couple more. Oh, actually, all these, the rest of these don't have tops. And they all seem to have rooted. Yeah, let's see. They all seem to have rooted. So this one's interesting. This one, I noticed any ones that you would cut kind of at a stump right here from the side seem to produce very nice roots. You can see here. And that's it. All right. And I'm gonna put this over to here. I mean, they have roots, but the roots are so small. So that's 18 here that made it. 2 didn't make it here. All right, so here's the pile that didn't have any roots or had a little bit of root. So we're gonna keep these to kind of see if they root. Or well, these over here, this pile here is, I'm gonna call that the dead pile, because that's definitely not gonna root. They all are yellow, and I'm pretty sure they're dead. So four's got done. So right now we're at 96% success rate. But these here don't have any roots. I mean, this has a nub, but they don't have any roots at all. This here, I'm pretty sure these are gonna make it. They have roots, and maybe some have nubs. They're most likely gonna make it, but I put it over to this side. And we have 15 that's, we're gonna have to wait and see. This one here that's yellow, it has a tiny bit of root. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it. That's why I put it on this side. So this side, I'm not sure if they're gonna make it. So I put them here. So we got 15 here, and over here we have 4, and then we have the 4 dead over there. All right. So with that said, I roughly got about 80 to 90% success rate. I think I can better my success rate if I make sure I take cuttings that have leaf on them, and I can pretty much say like with these have leaves, but they're at the bottom of the cuttings. So that's why I'm not sure if that's the reason why they didn't take. But I think you'll have 100% success rate if you take cuttings from the top, like this one. This one's definitely a top cutting. And if you take that from the top, you should see nice big roots come out by within 30 days. You should start seeing little sprouts in about a couple weeks, but you'll have to give it 30 days to see some nice long roots. And so that's pretty much it for the video. And then we're gonna go and see and I'll wait another maybe 30 days to see what happens with these guys. In the meantime, I had these sitting in the inside of the house, so they didn't have any sun, just whatever ambient light there was, and sunlight going through the window. So now that they have roots, I'm just going to leave them outside. Alright everyone, so here is the final verdict of all the lucky bamboos. So we started with 100 canes, and we ended up with, I would say, 80 right here. I have 80 up here. These are 80 that I would call successful. So we have an 80% success rate right now. So I think the best approach here is, if you want to be 100% successful, to make sure you have a lot of like thick leaves here like this, nice leaves, and maybe the cane itself should be around 6 to 8 inches long, and that'll help in the propagation. I'm going to attempt it again and do another 100 lucky bamboo canes to try to get that 100% rate. But the next time I do it, I'm not gonna do any of these canes here where they're kind of they don't have any leaves. Even though this one here has leaves, it didn't make it. And these 3 totally didn't make it. So these 3 still have, or this batch here still has a chance here. Minus this one. I consider those 3 gone now. And so we have, I believe it's about 6 gone, 7 gone, 100% for sure. And these guys may still make it, but it's been a while now, so I'm not sure whether or not they will make it. But we know for a fact here that we have 80 of them that did root and are sprouting little buds here. See all these, even though some of them are a little small, you can see here at tiny little sprout here. The root here, not a lot, but it should make it. So I'm going to pot these all up. I'm going to throw them in a pot. Some I'm actually going to leave in vase with some water, because they do well also just living in water. So we'll just do that and leave them in water and see what happens. See, look at this batch here with all the leaves. So this batch here with all the leaves, look at the root on that. It's really nice. When you compare it to some of the other ones that didn't have any leaf or any, let's say this batch here that didn't really have any leaves, there weren't that many roots. I'll show you this one. This one's a better idea here. We'll give you a better idea here. See it? So not a lot of roots. I'm gonna take a look at this batch. There you go. See those roots? Not as much as the other ones. So I like those bigger roots with the white on them. That I know is a 100% success. So that's pretty much it. That wraps it up. I'll go ahead and just pot a few up and put some in a vase, and I'll show you that. Alright everyone, so here is the Lucky Bamboo potted up. I didn't pot all of them up, but I did a few, and I wanted to show you what we got. So here is one in a small little pot, and I have 3 in this one. And so the potting mix I use here is a great potting mix. It's got a lot of perlite in it. It's down here. It's called Kellogg's Organics. It's all natural raised bed and potting mix. So I like this one. You can get it at Home Depot. It comes in a very big bag. It's pretty much 2 cubic feet, 56 liters, and it works great. It's about $10 for a big bag, so that's probably my favorite. It's got the best dollar for value that I've found. And again, it's got a lot of perlite in it. You can see right here, a lot of perlite, so it's a good mix. So here's another one I potted up. There's 14 in this 3-gallon pot, and I'm just gonna put that somewhere in the shade, and hopefully it grows nice and tall. So here are the other ones. So I wanted to show you also. You can grow these in just jars. So I got a jar here. It's a nice looking jar. You see the roots there. You don't have to put soil or anything in it. Just grow it just like that. We've got a few that are growing in the house, very tall with lots of roots. And that's what I'm going to use with this one. Is just leave it in a jar and just grow it inside the house. And it looks nice. So we have also this one here. And you can get this at the dollar store or the Dollar Tree here. It's a little jar. You can also get the rocks at the Dollar Tree. And it makes a nice gift. I have 3 Lucky Bamboos in there, and it looks nice. And these back here I still haven't potted up. I don't know what to do with them yet, but I'll get them potted up and most likely have them grow somewhere in the back of the yard. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you want to keep updated with this particular bamboo propagation. So until next time, this is Mr. Chemo signing out.